Alan Z is a singer, songwriter, rapper, people's champ, he's the underdog. You know, I embody like the American dream in a sense of if you really believe in something and you work hard enough for it, you're gonna achieve it. I am the Fresh Prince of Atlanta. I think my biggest motivation is celebrating little victories. I know some people say like you shouldn't, but for me, I think that's very important because it's like with every little win, it reminds me that it leads to like a greatest, like, you know, an actual like finish line. You know what I'm saying? So I think like seeing little things work for me, it motivates me to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, it's working. You know, so it's like trusting the process and believing that all of this has a meaning, that it's not just gonna like fall apart one day. You know what I mean? I think there was like two turning points. One was when I started doing a lot of shows. So like the show that I always remember is in 2015 when I did a show in Philly. And that was when I started to develop my, what started to be my core fan base, which was like a mixture of like black girls and white girls. And then from then on, I just started doing a lot more like shows and stuff like that. And albeit there was a lot of K-pop oriented shows, so I was hating myself while I was doing it. But I was like, man, I just need something. I need to grab something. So I did it while hating myself. And then the second turning point came when I pretty much was like, I don't want to do this anymore because it was discouraging. It was like, there was people that don't get me that think I'm a K-pop artist, which I'm not. And then there's like Koreans that hate me because I'm not Korean. So I was battling everything, you know? And then again, I had a turning point conversation with Taj, and he was just like, you have a choice, man. You can either keep riding this K-pop wave and hate yourself because you'll never be them, or you can be Alan F&Z. You can do what you were meant to do, which is be a game changer. And that's gonna be harder, but that's gonna be something that's worthwhile. So after he said that, I really told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna unbrainwash myself from this whole how you thing and just do what I'm supposed to do, which is break into the mainstream American music scene. And at that point on, I was like, you know what, I'm really gonna actually make moves. I'm gonna actually, you know, connect with people in my city. I'm gonna not rely on stuff as a crutch, you know what I'm saying? And then I started working on my EP. I think that was like the biggest thing because I'm like, okay, I can really make projects. I can make changes. You know, I can show people what I'm capable of, you know? So First Time's a Charm was the result of that. Whenever I do like events and people don't know who I am, and it's like, it's always skepticism. So it's like, if you saw me like on stage, I just took it. I knew people would be like, nah, he's probably not gonna be anything. And I knew it, I just knew it because it's been like that my whole life. And I thought it was funny when he said the rap game meets American Idol because it's like, you know, I was rapping and then I started switching up and I started singing. And so, you know, I thought it was a funny commentary. And then the judge who said that, she like pulled me to the side. She was like, by the way, I'm just kidding. She's like, I think you're really talented, but I just had to make some, you know, stir it up. Every project an artist makes is like a time capsule. And I think once you make that project, you probably will never feel like that again. Like, there's certain songs I've made in First Time's a Charm that I'll never probably make again production-wise, because that was just for that time period. Whereas the certain other songs I made on it, maybe I'll be like, oh, I really like this, I'm gonna touch on it more. So I feel like the best part about it was, you know, learning myself. It's like, I learned what I like to do, you know, as far as like creatively, and also learned what content I can make while staying true to myself and telling my story while, you know, entertaining the people. You know, like there's really personal songs in the EP. Like there's songs like No Handouts where I'm talking about how I pretty much never got a single like help from anyone. I just pretty much created my own empire. And there's songs like Discriminated where I talk about getting bullied as a kid and then how that racism transferred into the music industry, how I still face that today. And I don't know, the whole project is pretty much me at this moment. And I think it's important to capture moments through music. Well, me and Chops, like we've known each other, like of each other for like a couple of years. And then so, it's actually kind of funny, like I think I said happy birthday to him or something, like on Facebook. And he was like, hey, by the way, if you got some music, new music, I want to check it out. So I sent him some of my stuff and he was like, you know, he's like, do you ever want to do something? And I was like, yes. So he sent me like 20 beats. And then so within like the first 2 days, like I wrote the song All of You, which ended up on my EP. And that took like probably like 30 minutes. I was just sending him voice notes back and forth because he lives in Philly. So, and he just loved everything I was doing, like the hook, the verse. So we just went back and forth as far as like ideas and how to put everything together. And then once that song was finished, I started writing To Color Me Bad, and then he was like telling me what was working for him, and then we just started building on that. And then, I don't know, it was a really cool like experience because up until then, like a lot of times working with producers, it was like me recording over the beat, getting it mixed, and it's done. But for him, it was like I'll record, and then he'll listen to what I've recorded, and he'll make the beat around my vocals. And that's pretty much like what a true like producer would do. Not saying everyone else I worked with wasn't true producers, but I'm saying this is somebody experienced, like, and knows what to do around the boards. So that was something that was very cool, was pretty much having him cater to my sound and like molding it around what I did. Worldwide was definitely like just me experimenting, because I didn't have any like I didn't have any like prior experiences with music videos like to that extent. So that was just something fun to do, But Distance I felt like was my debut music video in a sense, because that's pretty much what told the world about me. Because it was like, one, it's a very personal story about me and a certain ex-girlfriend who I had a terrible, like, toxic relationship with, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to. So Taj gave me the idea as far as like what I could do, and then I took that idea and I created like a treatment for it, And then so the treatment and then the co-directing, that was on me. And then I had Katie Gray, who's like my main director. He shot everything, and then like I think it took like 4 hours, but the result of it looked like it was like a couple days worth of shooting, And with Touch and Go, it was pretty much like creating that same magic with Katie, which was Taj giving me the idea, hey, you should do like this video where you have different girls with different stories, and then I wrote that into a treatment, and then we shot that over the summer. And then so we had 3 main girls for Touch and Go, and each girl represented like a certain time period of my life. Each girl was like, kind of like, even if you were like no longer a part of my life, they're still important to me. So like when people talk about like, situationships and flings and whatever, like people tend to make it seem like it's like people dogging each other out. But for me, it's like, even if I share certain experiences with certain people, certain girls, like it's not like it's not disrespectful, which is why the song is so forward. And it's like those experiences pretty much taught me who I was, and then like it shows that there's like, it's humanized as far as like those experiences, because each moment with those different girls, there was still something special to them. I can probably make acting work too, because my whole thing is, when I make it as an artist, it'll be so much easier for me to get roles as an actor. Whereas if I was an actor first, all I would get stuck with was, really bad roles, stereotypical roles. So I started getting into it, like, I'd say like 2015, 2016, like seriously, because I was like, if I'm acting in my music videos, I'm pretty sure I'll be good at acting in like, actual roles. And I know it's very cocky to say, but I just feel like, like I know how to be an actor, And so I started, expanding that into like little bit roles. Like I was in Star, I did Being Mary Jane, and then I started auditioning for like different parts and stuff like that. And then I started working on this web series called Fear, and I'm like one of the lead characters. And so, I feel like with that's just like a different craft in itself. And I love acting because I get to be a student. Like, whereas I'm like feeling like I'm like almost like a young OG when it comes to music, I'm still pretty much like brand new with acting, meaning I can be coached, I can be molded. Like a director can tell me what to do, why I suck at certain parts, and I'm gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with music, if you tell me that, I'm probably gonna punch him in the face. So it's like, I like the idea of still being like hungry in terms of acting, because it allows me to appreciate music. Because I don't know, I'm very ADD when it comes to creativity. I have to do multiple things so that I don't get stuck or get bored at doing something. As far as like the experience, it was really good, because it's very rare that you find a perfect cast. And I feel like we have the perfect cast. It's just a shame that certain things behind the scenes isn't allowing the public to see it. But that's the coolest thing, is just finding chemistry within your fellow, I guess, actors, castmates. So if it's something new, I can't go into the mindset of I know everything. So, I do what I do with music. I soak everything up and I try to make it my own. Definitely plan on still doing music. Still, I want to, be selling out albums, selling out concerts, and being in movies. And then pretty much letting the creativity take me wherever. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to write scripts. Like produce for other artists, you know what I mean, like under me, and pretty much still, challenging like the social norms, you know what I mean, and being, I don't know, like, kind of being like the positive representation for Asian men, you know what I'm saying, and being able to push boundaries with my music. I am the Fresh Prince of Atlanta.
And if you don't tell us all, nobody has to know, nobody has to know. Ain't no other man can do like you do, yeah. Ain't nobody gotta know about us when we in the cut. I'ma make you know that. No touch and go long as you bring that back. Hitting notes like that, we'll be making more than music. Yeah.